Hello, I am Elizabeth of Lore, and I am reporting today from my portal for healing, restoration, and channeling. And today I am going to share with you a recent channeled message that I received right here in my portal during a channeling session that took place in the dream realm. Dreams are certainly not the only way in which I or others can channel, but they are a very potent method for channeling. When we have a dream that we vividly remember, that stands out, that holds a lot of information, and the colors and imagery are extremely bright and vivid, and there's a lot of detail, that typically means it's a channeling and not simply processing of the ego's memories, which dreams can also be. This was definitely an interdimensional travel channeling, and it is on a topic which we all think about, we all confront, we all consider at some point. Some of us are more comfortable with it, some of us are afraid and run from it. All of us think about it, and that is the topic of death. And if you've noticed, perhaps I have changed the angle in my portal that I'm filming so that you can see my friend, my portal guardian here, Lady Death. She guards my portal, she watches over me while I sleep, and perhaps this is part of the reason why I had this channeling on the topic of death. I'm also very connected to the death realms, and there's a lot I can say on this topic. I won't go into everything in this video, I'll make more on the topic. However, what I will say is that I know myself to be in the spirit realm, someone who helps people pass through the passageway of death. And also, I have died many times, not only in other lifetimes where I've reincarnated, but also within this lifetime. I have died a number of times and returned to my physical body. I'll make another video about that at another time. For now, I'm going to share this channeled dream I had and a little bit about the information that I received from it. So it is on the topic of death, which is disturbing to some people. Some of the imagery in it may be disturbing to some people. A fair warning now. I'm going to share the dream. So I was in a sort of liminal space, a sort of purgatory, a passageway after a being has died. And I was not dead, though. I was one of the beings who resides there, who helps guide others through. And there was a young girl, maybe about 12 years old, who was there, and all I could see was her head. And I had the distinct impression that she had been decapitated. And I felt like it was not by someone, like it wasn't a violent act. It was maybe an accident, maybe a car accident, which of course is still a horrifying way to die. But I just mean to say that it was something that happened accidentally, not something that was inflicted on her by another person. And she was there. She was all right. She wasn't crying, but she was a little, discombobulated. As I said, she was about 12 years old. She was a child. And I was talking to her, and she said, "This is my most difficult death, isn't it?" And I told her, "Yes, the first one is always the most difficult. That's the way of things." And she said, "I know this now. Death is speaking to me. I'm learning." And she said, "The first time a spirit dies, they always die as a child." And I said, "Yes, that's the way of things." And she said, "I'm sad. I want to go back. I miss my mom." And I said, "Your mother misses you too. That's why you're here. That's why you're not passing through into another lifetime yet. You are unable to because of the attachment, the tether you still have to life because of your family, your mother's deep grief and desire to bring you back." And I realized in the dream, the information I received was that the reason why a spirit, when they are a new spirit who's lived only one time and is dying for the very first time, dies as a child. And the message I received was that all of us, when it's our first time dying, die as a child. We do this for that reason, that the grief and sort of tragedy that's associated with that tethers the spirit to the purgatory realm for a longer time than any other spirit. And this is necessary because in the purgatory realm, the spirit is able to gather information about the nature of death, the nature of reincarnation, the nature of life. They're able to regroup, they're able to integrate the experience of living and dying that they've had only once, and they're able to get more time with it. So the message I received was that it was sort of rigged this way, that the first time a spirit is incarnated, they will die as a child for that reason, which is very interesting. It's not something I ever thought of before. And it means that anyone who's watching this who's not a child has already lived at least one other lifetime. Anyway, we continued to talk, and she asked me how many times I had died. And I told her, I've lost count. I've done it so many times. Now I can go back to the same body, and I can die and go back into the same body. And she said, so you're immortal? And I said, well, yes, but so are you. Look, you died and you're still here talking to me. You are eventually going to pass from this realm and go into a new body. That's immortality, isn't it? She said, well, when can I be like you? Will I ever be like you? And I said, oh, yes, of course you'll be like me. Perhaps after a few 100 billion lifetimes, you'll be like me. And she said, a few 100 billion? That's longer than there have been humans on Earth. And I laughed and I said, well, of course. Did you think that humans were the only type of being? You couldn't possibly have thought that. And then I paused and I said, although I have been to Earth many times. In fact, I'm incarnated on Earth right now. She said, you're incarnated on Earth right now? I said, yes, I'm incarnated on Earth right now. Even while I'm talking to you, I'm incarnated on Earth. And that version of me is dreaming all of this and thinks this is a dream. And then I started laughing. And I said, but also she knows that that is the dream and that this is real. She knows that, but that feels real to her. And this feels like the dream. It's so funny. And I was just laughing and laughing and laughing. At that point, while I was saying that, I actually became aware of my physical Earth body. And I was able to experience both dimensions at the same time. And I kept laughing and laughing and laughing. And then the laughter kind of shot me back into my Earth body and I woke up. So it was a very intense visit to another version of myself in the death realm. But what I received from that, some of this I already knew, but the message I wanted to share with you, beyond that interesting tidbit about what happens when a child dies, which is something, I'm a mother. Thinking of a child dying is horrific. It's not something that I enjoy thinking about. However, I understood what the message was saying was that for a spirit that has never been incarnated before and needs extra time in the purgatory realm in order to integrate that, having that very strong tether of deep, deep, deep tragic grief binds them to that realm strongly enough that they're able to get the integration that they need. So I thought that was something that can be at least somewhat of a comfort when it comes to the horrific thought of a child dying, and is that it serves a spiritual purpose. The other message that I wanted to share is just that we are all constantly cycling through incarnation after incarnation after incarnation, and each time we do this, we gain more and more ability to splinter off into different parts of the multiverse. So that young girl who had lived her very first life and was experiencing her first death was only there in the death realm. However, she was about to be incarnated again once she passed through purgatory, which meant that she was going to have a version of herself, because time is not true, is an illusion. There's a version of herself that continues to exist as that girl. There's a version of herself that continues to exist in the purgatory realm, and there's a version of herself that continues to exist in her new life. And as that spirit continues to evolve, she will, as I said, gain the ability to do what my spirit was doing, which was communing with her in the death realm and having an experience on Earth, and also many other experiences in many other dimensions, which I'm sure many of you seeing this can relate to. I'm sure many of you also connect with other versions of yourself in other dimensions. So different spirits have different spiritual ages and different evolutions of the spirit. We're all going through this process of growing and expanding and evolving across the multiverse and interacting with each other. So that's a very interesting element of the spirit realm that I got a very potent, clarifying message about in this dream. And the other, of course, is that death is an illusion. It's not something that we need to fear. It's simply a change. And that's the strongest message. We don't need to fear this transformation, this passage. It's something that we will do again and again and again. And each time our spirit evolves, and each time we gain new knowledge and new understanding. And we are immortal. We never truly die. So that's the message I wanted to share. I hope it was helpful. Thank you for watching. Please like the video, please comment, please subscribe to the channel, help it grow. These things are all free for you and help me spread this message and keep going with what I'm doing. Thank you.